Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. So today we are exploring really interesting and most powerful concept in .NET Core, which is called Kit services. Okay, so let me open here one thing. Okay, let me open a Scalable here. So what we are trying to cover today is Kit services. So what are Kit services? Kit services are, I can say, a way to register or resolve the multiple implementations of the same interface in your DI container with a unique key. Okay, so in short, if I say when you register, when you have multiple implementations of your same interface, in that scenario, how you will differentiate when and where I want to call this specific service. Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. You have to implement a notification. Okay, so you have one interface here, which is your notification, and correspond to that you have multiple services. It could be your email notification, or it could be your SMS, and it could be your push. But you only have one interface and which has one method, send. This is responsible for sending the notification, and all these services or classes are implementing this. So when you will register these all into your DI container, like if you remember when we were exploring in the DI series, dependency injection series, where we covered we have to add our services, we have to register our services into the container, like builder dot services dot add singleton and so on. Okay, so like this way we were doing that. But now suppose how you will do that. You will here an I notification and their implementation of email, and suppose same way you have for your, and these three you have, one is for your email and one is for your, let me fix this, to SMS, and one is for your push notification. So what do you think that when you will call your iNotification in your controller, so which service will be called and what will be the response you will get? Can you make any guesses? Now we have three services in a series. Oh, typo in the email. My bad. So you have email. First you have email, then you have SMS, then you have push. So what do you think that what response you will get? So you will always got the response whatever service you have registered at the last. So in this case you will get the response from the push notification always, because it has registered as a last in your DI container. So you will get response from your push notification. So what Kit services do, Kit services actually handle these all with the unique key. Like here you will use add not singleton, you will mention here Kit services, add Kit singleton, and here you will define key. Okay, so let's move to the code and example and see how to configure and implement this. Okay, so let me quickly do some stuff here. DI, let me create new folder, Kit services, DI playground, Control L CMD and open with code. Okay, so let me quickly create new project. Okay, so we have created one project like name as Kids Services DI Playground, and let me quickly go here and check if this is running or not. Let me quickly send the request. Yeah, we are getting a response. Okay, so let me remove some unnecessary code. We don't require this weather forecast. Okay, we don't need this, and this as well, we don't require this. Perfect. Okay, and we also don't need these. Perfect. So now here we will add our services to the container, and here add to the what HTTP request pipeline. Okay, so here we will inject our services to the HTTP request pipeline, and here to the container. Okay, so what I was trying to say, okay, let's understand with the example, like how I got to know about kit services. Actually, I was working on a project and I got a scenario where I have to implement the multiple payment services. Like I have one interface called iPayment, and correspond to that there could be multiple implementations like your UPI, your credit card, and your debit card, your PayPal, your Apple Pay, and anything. So for that, I was exploring like there are already some ways like your named services and your factory pattern. You can do that. You can do with the service locator pattern and all those. But I was looking around. Is there any standard or like standard way where I have to write a less code and that is more maintainable and readable and adheres to your solid principles, especially in your DI conversion? So for that I was looking, so I got to know about kit services, and so I thought that I should share this with you all. Okay, so here what we'll do, we'll create one services, and here inside this I'll create one interface. Suppose I payment service.cs. Okay, so first of all we'll define our namespace, which will be our kit services and di playground dot, here you go with the services. Perfect. So here I have to define one interface which is your iPayment service. Perfect. And this will have one method called process payment, and this will take your amount, like what amount you want to process. Perfect. So far so good. We have declared one interface which has one method called process payment, which is responsible for processing the payment. So far so good. Okay, so there could be multiple implementation of your payment service. So first I would like to call as credit card payment service.cs, and this will have your namespace dot services, and this will have public class your credit card payment service, and your this will implement your iPayment service. Okay, so this would have one method, will implement this. Okay, so suppose I have one more called your PayPal payment service.cs. Then quickly we'll define the namespace, which is our kit services di playground dot services. Perfect. Here again we'll have one class, which is your PayPal payment service. This will also implement your iPayment service. And one is your what name we should give, UPI or Apple Pay? Just go with Apple Pay. Apple Pay payment service.cs namespace, and this would be your this services public class हर कोई एप्पल ही चाहता है यार, कोई एंड्रॉयड बहुत कम लोग हैं जो चाहते हैं। तो कोड में भी एप्पल, फोन में भी एप्पल, मैकबुक भी एप्पल, आईपैड भी एप्पल, सब एप्पल एप्पल। कोई नॉन एप्पल नहीं होना चाहता है। Everyone was like, I want Apple. Okay, jokes apart. Okay, so let me quickly define the implementation of this. And what is this? This is our Apple payment. Okay, this will be our console.writeLine. And here what we can do, we can define payment has been processed, payment of but you want me to console here, payment amount of no. Oh, I would like to call here amount and currency has been processed via let me write here type of, which would be your Apple payment service dot name. Perfect. Okay, so here we are just consoling, printing on the console that payment amount of this blah 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 blah. Okay, so let me quickly do this for all the services. This was for your Apple, and change this to your credit card. Perfect. And one for your PayPal, and let me do here PayPal. Perfect. So far so good. We have defined our services and the interface as well. So now what we'll do, we'll create a controller, or first should we go for the service extension to register these all into our RDI container. Okay, so let's create new folder called controllers, and here we will have one payment controller .cs, and here we will have first API controller or namespace. What will be the namespace dot nice intelligence. Then I have to define the route, which would be your API / controller. Perfect. And here I will give name as payment controller, and this will come from your controller base. Perfect. And there will be one. No, actually, I don't want to go with get. I want to go with post. Perfect. Here, public action result and process payment, and this will take your decimal amount. Don't want currency code, that all you can manage at your own. Okay, so we'll do something here. Okay, so now what I have to do, okay, so let me quickly create one extension method here for your registering the services. I'll create service collection extension.cs. Like, if you don't know what is service collection extension, okay, just have patience, hold on, let's see what we are doing here. Then I'll ask you one thing. So our namespace will be kid services di playground dot, no, nothing else. Perfect. Here we will have public static class service collection extension. Perfect. Public get service collection now. Install services. Perfect. And here I would like to go with this. Here, go here. Services, go here. Dot. Now. Earlier what we were doing, we were add singleton like this. No. But now this time we'll go with the kit services. So how that will work? So define here add kid. So I'll define this as a transient, and here I will have iPayment service. So first implementation I would like to call as our what? Credit card. Okay. Credit card payment service. But here is a catch. You have to define unique key for your this service. So I would like to call it as credit card. Perfect. And same way I need two other services for your PayPal, and one is for your Apple Pay. Apple Pay. Perfect. So let me quickly change this to Apple Payment Service, this to your PayPal Payment Service. Okay. So we are good with this. So would somebody like to drop a comment like why we are defining all these here in this service collection extension, why not in the startup here in our program.cs? I want the answer. कोई तो बता दो यार, कोई तो कमेंट करो. बताना, मैं वेट करूंगा. ओके, I would love to hear your comments. What you wrote. Okay, what you'll write. So here what we'll do, we'll register builder.services dot install services. Perfect. And we need to using no. Go here and define the namespace using key. No. Kid services di background. No, we are not getting this. Perfect. I was also doing the same. Don't know why it didn't get. Okay, let it be. So now I need one middleware, one processor which will be responsible for like what we can do. Either we can directly do this like your iService provider. here, or what we can do this in a separate file. So our code will be clean here inside your controller. Will don't mess here in the controller. Okay, so for that sake, let me define this service provider logic in a different class. Okay, so let me call it a name as processor. So quickly create one processor, which will be your payment processor. Payment processor.cs, namespace, git services playground, your processor, and public class. This would be your payment processor, and here we will have one static method. Okay, so let me define first public static void, which will be your process payment, and this will take not string, decimal amount. Yeah, we are good with this. Now one more thing here, like I was telling you, like without using keyed services, if without defining these keys, if you will register your services like this in this sequence, so you will always get your Apple payment service. Doesn't matter how many services you have defined, but the last one you will always get as a response. So what I want, now I'm defining key here. Okay, so this was for your compile time, like you are defining here on your compile time, like I want this service. And if you are going with factory pattern, then you are taking or managing your manual business logic for conditional and all those. So what about the runtime? If I want, like suppose you are proceeding with the payment, and on the runtime you will click on several options you have for your UPI, your credit card, your debit card. So we'll click on one, which will be your, suppose you click on credit card, then a request will be generated or sent to the server with a credit card. So that is on your runtime, you are sending request and you are telling to the server, I want to call this service. Okay, so for that, what I want to do, I want to take one more parameter here, like string and payment method. Let me give it a name as payment method, and this amount I would like to take it from query. Perfect. Let me define it out here as well, your payment method. Perfect. We'll come to here, and now let me complete our processor. So here we also need our payment method, because we'll inject our payment processor into our controller. So we need payment method here as well. So what we will do here, we will, let me first inject this service, which is your service provider, and call it a service provider. And what if I break this line here? Perfect. Now what I want, where payment service is equal to service provider dot, now we have to call get keyed service and the implementation of iPayment service. Where is iPayment service? And here we'll pass the payment method, because I want, why we are getting the error here, primary constructor parameter is in this context cannot use. Okay, tell me why we cannot use the primary constructor here. So this is question for you. Okay, so just try it out, do Google and whatever, like why we cannot use primary constructor here for the iService provider. Let me do iService provider, service provider, And let me define our constructor here. We are good. We'll call it as service provider, service provider, service provider. Perfect. Now can we get this? Why we are getting the error here? Okay, so remove as of now as this non-static. So can we go, if I copy this complete code and if I go with this and if I remove the static key here, oh, we are good with this. We can go with this. Okay, that was the just because of static. We used static there. So if I again do static, but now we are not getting the like error like you cannot use with the static field. Okay, so let me remove static as of now. Perfect. Or what we can do here public static class as well. And here we can go with the static method. No. Perfect. So now I would like to let me define one logic here. Like if this is null, then throw new invalid operation exception, and here I would like to call it as your payment method, not amount. Your payment method is not supported, and let me fix. There is one payment method, bro. Perfect. So we are if then we'll call the this, and here we have to pass the amount only. Perfect. Now what we are doing, we have defined one middleware where what we were doing, we are just passing the payment method we want and we are getting that service. We are proceeding with the payment. What we will do, we will register this in our controller. I believe here we can do with our primary constructor, and let me do here payment processor. Perfect. Here I would call it as payment processor dot process payment, and here why I am getting the error. Where is my payment processor dot process payment? Let me go here. String payment method, decimal amount, which is perfect. What it is saying? Okay, it is saying it does not exist in the current context. Oh, I believe we made typo here. Yeah. And here I would like to return okay, and one message here, payment of amount currency has been processed via payment method. Perfect. And if we get any exception, so in that case, I would like to throw bad request, or could be an internal server error. Okay. So then I will return bad request, but this I would like to give perfect. So if we get exception, then we'll return this bad request, and if we are good, then we'll do with the payment of amount blah blah has been processed via your specific payment method. Now what I want to do, I have to register our payment processor as well, because I created this now. So let me, okay, so do I need to inject or register our payment processor also with the kit services, or we can do simply? Tell me, I'm waiting. Don't need. We can simply go with the payment processor and we are good. Okay. So now, will this code work? What do you think? What do you think? Oh, we have error here. What is that? Let me check. I am at the right. Yep. Oh no. The term .NET is not recognized as a name of CMD let. Oh, my bad. .NET build. .NET? What is .NET? Okay. So if I do .NET run, will I get the response? What do you think? I'm saying I'll not get response. Okay, just try it out and tell me what I have missed here and why I will not get response. Post for payment service. Okay, so here we will do post host address API Pine API, then our payment and method I would like to give it as credit card, and then your amount will be where is insert. Okay, so will I get response? Should I try with this? Okay, let's try and see. I'm saying we'll definitely get error. 404 not found. Why? Bro, you haven't registered mapped your controller in your DI services container, neither in your HTTP request pipeline. Okay, so we have to do here builder dot services dot add controllers, and one in your HTTP request pipeline app dot map controllers. Okay, we have done. So now what do you think? Will I get the response or not? Let me see if we get the response. No, we are not getting the response. Why? Would you like to give it a try? Why we are not getting the response? Okay, let's see. We have API, we have payment. What response we are getting? Not found. Payment, credit card amount. Okay. So I believe that you have found like why we were not getting the response. we made a mistake here, like inside this payment method, actually this must be in your curly braces. So I missed that is it was unable to find that URL. So once you will do that, and if you will do a .NET run, then if you go here and you will send a request, you will get payment of amount rupees 100 has been processed via credit card. And if I change this to your, what would you like to give it as? Suppose I don't want to go with credit card and I want to go with your Apple Pay, then you will get Apple Pay, and simultaneously you can see we are getting the consoles here, like which service or the implementation we are calling. So how easy this is for you. And here your Apple Pay, and if you want to go with your PayPal, then you can simply do with the PayPal. And if you define something else, payments, this is not supported, you got the exception. Okay, perfect. Now just imagine, now if you want tomorrow someone came and someone says, I want to add one more implementation, like I want to add UPI here. So what you will do? So let me do one more thing here. Instead of defining these hard code keys here, let me get these all from the enum. Okay. So what I will do, I will create here entities, and here I will define one payment method dot cs, and here we will get the namespace entities public enum payment method, and here we will go with our credit card and PayPal. Perfect. And then Apple Pay. Let me run the existing code with this enum, then we'll add one more UPI and we'll see how easy this is for us to add something new here, because we are getting from the kit services. This will also in your like factory pattern and all those, but here you do not need to touch so many things. You can just do with a few line of code or few changes in your payment processor. Okay, so let's see. Now we are good with this. We are getting in our payment processor. Yeah, here we are getting these. So I will call payment method dot credit card. This is our key, like payment method dot credit card and PayPal. Same for your payment method dot Apple Pay. Perfect. And in our processor now we have to change, because from the UI or the client side we are getting the string, but here we have the enum. Okay, so what we can do here, we can check if not what our enum dot, do we have try parse. This will take your t enum, which we have as your payment method, and here we have to define string value. We are getting the payment method, and the second is ignore case. Let me define it as true as of now, and then we need one out where payment method value. Good. If this is not the scenario, then we'll simply throw new argument, not argument invalid. Let me copy from here. Payment method is not supported. Good. And let me change this to or some error occurred. Good. So now what we are and here we have to change this to our payment method value. So far so good. Perfect. Now we are just doing here with the enum value and we are passing that enum value and we are checking here. Okay. So let me do a run and see if this is working or not. Yeah, we are getting PayPal. Let me do small p because ignore case is true. This will ignore your case sensitivity. But we'll see if we make it false and in that scenario this will work or not. So let me check for others as well. Your Apple Pay. Good. Make it like this. Good. We are getting response. Perfect. But if I will change in our processor this to false. Now let me do a run and check. Oh, we get payment method Apple Pay is not supported because now the ignore case is false. We have to give the correct name. So this is the type safety you can get with your enum and all those. That makes more better clarity to your code with the type safety and all those things. So now what we were doing, we were trying to add one more implementation of your UPI. So for that, what you have to do, you have to first add in your enum that you want to go with the UPI, not API, UPI. Okay. And one more thing, you have to create one more service here with your UPI payment service .cs namespace get services .services, and let me quickly copy this here and paste this here. Change this credit card to UPI and here UPI payment service. So far so good. And what we will do, we will add here, make it to UPI and UPI payment service. That's all. We have done our job, and let me try here with the UPI. What do you think? Will we get the response or not? Ta-da-da! Payment of amount of UPI payment service. Did you notice how easy or simple it was? You have to just create one implementation, add it into your entity, and do with your service collection. So yeah, that's it for today's video. So we have covered what Git services and when to use, and there are some key points that you have to keep in your mind while implementing Git services. Like the first one, always keep your keys meaningful, give some meaningful name to your keys. And the another one is avoid overusing Git services. Use them only when you have like genuinely distinct implementation of the same interface. And the last one is consider using extension methods for your clean and reusable service registrations, which make your code more maintainable, readable, and less modification at the multiple places. So yeah, that's it for today's video. If you found this useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.